Good evening and welcome to the Icu Tv main news, or let's take a look at the stories that are making headlines. Cabinet orders integrity committees in all public institutions to fight corruption. New Bailey Bridge nearing completion is set to open next week. IAEA praises ongoing upgrades at Zambia's Cancer Diseases Hospital. In international news, US court rules many of Trump's global tariffs are illegal. And on the sports front, Zambia defense women's rugby team storms into IDRC 2025 final. With news in detail, my name is Maluva Eric J. Mwanamujende. In a major move to strengthen the fight against corruption, Secretary to Cabinet Patrick Kangwa has directed all public institutions to establish integrity committees. Mr. Kangwa stressed that institutions must allocate sufficient resources to ensure these committees operate effectively. His remarks were delivered on his behalf by Professor Lakson Kasonga, Permanent Secretary for Special Duties at the Cabinet Office, during the official launch of the Anti-Corruption Commission Integrity Committee in Lusaka yesterday. The ACC officially unveiled its new Height Member Integrity Committee, tasked with promoting ethical standards and safeguarding institutional integrity. ACC Director General Daphne Chabu says the rebranded committee will strengthen internal systems and enhance operational efficiency. She adds that this initiative aims to improve public engagement and boost confidence in the Commission's anti-corruption efforts. Meanwhile, Director of Public Prosecutions Gilbert Piri commended the SEC, calling the establishment of the committee a progressive step toward greater institutional accountability. Chairperson of the Integrity Committee, Glenda Mungalava, described the initiative as a pivotal move to ensure transparency and ethical conduct across the Commission. A new Bailey Bridge constructed by Zambia engineers at a cost of 4.8 million kwacha is nearing completion and is expected to be operational next week. The bridge will end a 120-kilometer detour through cinder caused by flooding, improving access for farmers, traders, school children, and mothers.
Cut off from Petauke, a new Bailey Bridge is in place, built by the Road Development Agency's Eastern Province team, funded at 4.8 million kwacha, assembled with Zambian hands and local know-how. We will now wait official commissioning. For the first time since independence, the short route holds through the rains. This is what President Hakainde Hichilema means when he says Zambia moving forward, even in hard to reach areas. No more 120-kilometer detours through cinder when the river swells. Trucks will pass right here. Buses will pass. Mothers will reach clinics on time. Children will make it to school.
But it also created a lot of employment. As you are aware, Lusangazi was one of the districts which were badly hit by the drought. So when we started this project, we had that in mind. Ideally, we were supposed to engage about 30 workers. But what we did, instead, we tripled the number. We engaged about 90 to 100 workers. And we told them, we are in this situation. So what you do is, you are going to agree in a week how many days each will work. So that you have everyone working. So at the end of the day, at least each and every representative family here on our workforce is having something.
Here's what this changes on the ground every day. Time becomes money. A 120-kilometer detour is hours of fuel, wear, and risk. The bridge wipes that out every trip. Now, farmers move maize and groundnuts in the same day. Traders keep stock fresh. Bus drivers add an extra run instead of idling at a flooded crossing.
Tizambokwanisa kuyenda kubwera kwetingafunike kuti tiende tibwere tichite vimene tizachita. Utanthauza kuti njira kapena bridge yatithandizira kuti umoyo wathu ufike pamene tifunika kufika, chifukwa chakuti uzasintha umoyo wathu wa tsiku ndi tsiku. Tizambofuna zofuna zathu za pa tsiku zichitika, ndiponso kuyenda kuvipatala maambulasi enzovutika maningi kuti ayende achose munthu wa mimba kuyendesa kuboma enzojama paja, but apa manje izankhala easy way yakuti palibe poima pena paliponse tanthauza tizathandizika mjira.
The project aligns with President Hakainde Hichilema's directive to cut waste and deliver development where it matters most. The government has cautioned permanent secretaries and senior public service officials against neglecting their core duties, emphasizing the importance of performance, accountability, and coordination across ministries. Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet for Finance and Economic Development, Mr. Siazongo Siakalenge, representing Acting Secretary to the Cabinet, Dr. Oliver Kalabo, made the remarks at the official opening of the 5th Senior Management Meeting of 2025 in Osaka. Officials were urged to treat cabinet responsibilities as their foremost obligation, with a warning that failing to respect performance management systems or properly delegate duties could undermine efficiency in service delivery. Mr. Siagalenge highlighted that performance contracts are not ceremonial but form the bedrock of accountability in the public service. He stressed that senior management meetings must take precedence over other engagements as they fall directly under cabinet oversight. He further guided that monitoring of projects and programs is the responsibility of technical officers at lower levels, while leadership should focus on strategic oversight. Early contract reviews were encouraged to identify and address challenges promptly. And permanent secretaries were also urged to complete appraisals for directors and assistant directors and to review their own performance contracts in line with cabinet expectations. Meetings can be conducted in offices or virtually with support from the Smart Zambia Institute. The Bank of Zambia has updated its currency regulations, reinforcing the kwacha and ngwe as the only legal tender for domestic transactions. The revised framework will now be known as the Currency Directives of 2025. The move comes in response to increased use of foreign currencies in local trade, a trend the central bank says has weakened the kwacha and created economic risks. Speaking in Dola during the final round of stakeholder consultations, Bank of Zambia Governor Dr. Denny Kalyalia said the new measures will be introduced gradually to give businesses a time to adjust. Dr. Kalyalia explained that the objective is to stabilize the currency, maintain low inflation, and support a conducive business environment while protecting the interests of both investors and citizens. And meanwhile, Public-Private Dialogue Forum Manager for Administration and Events, Kanja Ilunga, said currency regulations are essential to boosting export earnings. She added that the forum will continue engaging stakeholders and working with the central bank to ensure the reforms are inclusive and practical. President Hakainde Hichilema has announced that the government will increase allowances for chiefs and their retainers in the next national budget. Speaking in Katete during the 2025 Kulamba traditional ceremony of the Chewa people of Zambia, Malawi, and Mozambique, President Hichilema emphasized that government and traditional leaders are key partners in national development. He further highlighted that the government remains committed to supporting its citizens through social protection programs such as cash for work and social cash transfer. Malawian President Lazarus Chakwera was also in attendance at the ceremony. The announcement underscores the government's continued partnership with traditional authorities and its commitment to improving the welfare of communities across the country. The International Atomic Energy Agency has commended the rehabilitation work of Zambia's Cancer Diseases Hospital, which aims to enhance access to modern cancer care. Ms. Amal El-Rafai, Program Management Officer of the IAEA's Division of Africa, recently visited the hospital construction site in Lusaka alongside the Ministry of Health's Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Dr. Kennedy Lishimpi. With these upgrades, Zambia is set to significantly improve access to quality cancer treatment, benefiting thousands of patients across the country. where we take our first break and we'll be right back with more of our local stories. Welcome to the Zambia Research and Development Center, an institution dedicated to national development through capacity building and community development. Established in 2007 by a group of professionals and lecturers, ZRDC has since become a hub of research and innovation in the country. Registered with the Ministry of Home Affairs under the Registrar of Societies, ZRDC pursues cutting-edge research to address pressing social and economic challenges. Get involved. ZRDC engages in activities that stimulate international collaboration, promote knowledge sharing, and make research expertise available to decision makers. Our mission at ZRDC is to foster innovation and capacity building for national development. We believe in addressing poverty and underdevelopment through institutional and capacity building, human empowerment, and gender participation. In our quest to foster innovation and capacity building for national development, ZRDC launched the ZRDC University Sponsorship for Capacity Building and Development Program to facilitate knowledge advancement among ZRDC researchers and those intending to join the research community. Qualified Zambian citizens can pursue education at credible universities in Zambia with guaranteed prospects of joining the ZRDC research community. ZRDC engages in industrial and technological research, covering research development and innovative investigations to drive dynamic industrial development at national and regional levels. Join us at the Zambia Research and Development Center as we continue to innovate, empower, and shape a brighter future for Zambia. ZRDC, fostering innovation and capacity building for national development. Well, thank you for still staying tuned. And now, police in Chipata have arrested a 38-year-old accountant for the murder of his 25-year-old girlfriend. Eastern Province Police Commanding Officer Robertson Mwemba identified the deceased as Rhoda Mungombwe of Kapata Compound and the suspect as Edward Mwanamujele, an accountant at Horizon Company. The incident happened between Thursday night and the early hours of Friday at Mwanamujele's home in Kanjala. Police say the suspect invited his girlfriend after sending his wife away earlier in the week, but the night ended in a tragedy. At around 23:30 hours, Mwanamujele's landlord entered the house after hearing disturbing noises and found Rhoda lying in a pool of blood with deep head wounds, cuts, and multiple bruises. A metal bar is suspected to have been used in the attack. She was rushed to Chipata Central Hospital, where she was pronounced dead on arrival. Mwanamujele was arrested at the scene while attempting to clean up the blood. The body has since been deposited in the mortuary awaiting postmortem, while the suspect remains in police custody and will appear in court soon. 3 people have been injured in a serious road traffic accident in Lusaka's Olympia Park after a minibus overturned. The accident happened around midday at the junction of Chainama and Mumana roads, involving a Toyota Spatial, a Toyota Vitz, and a Toyota Hiace minibus. Police say the minibus driver failed to obey a traffic sign and collided with the Spatial before overturning and hit the Vitz. Among those injured were an adult woman and 2 girls aged 14 and 10 who were rushed to Chipata Level 1 hospital. The driver and conductor of the minibus fled the scene, and police have since launched a manhunt. Authorities are urging all motorists to exercise caution and obey traffic regulations to safeguard lives. While you are still watching the Icu Tv main news, we go on a short break. Stay tuned for our international and sports news.
The Information and Communications University is striving the thrill for the nation in research and development. Enroll now for full-time and distance programs in the School of Engineering, Humanities, Business and Education. To apply, visit our website at www.icuzambia.net or call us on +260 211 221 662 or 0966 342 359. Sponsorship is available. Enroll now.
And in our international news, a U.S. appeals court has ruled that most tariffs issued by U.S. President Donald Trump are illegal, setting up a potential legal showdown that could upend his foreign policy agenda. The ruling affects Trump's reciprocal tariffs imposed on most countries around the world, as well as other tariffs slapped on China, Mexico, and Canada. In a 7-4 decision, The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit rejected Trump's argument that the tariffs were permitted under an Emergency Economic Powers Act, calling them invalid as contrary to the law. The ruling will not take effect until 14th October to give the administration time to ask the Supreme Court to take up its course. And still in international news, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has been blocked from attending the UN General Assembly session in New York next month after he and 80 other Palestinian officials had their visas revoked, the US State Department has said. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio blamed them for undermining peace efforts and for seeking the unilateral recognition of the conjectural Palestinian state. The decision, welcomed by Israel, is unusual as the US is expected to facilitate travel for officials of all countries wishing to visit the UN headquarters. The ban comes as France leads international efforts to recognize a state of Palestine at the session, a move Donald Trump's administration has opposed. But we take our final break and we'll be right back with sports news.
Did you know that mental health conditions are treatable and recovery is possible? Hi, I'm Ngenia Febamoyo. I'm your host on Let's Talk Mental Health. I invite you all to this show where you freely express yourself and together we find a solution. For more details, you can contact 0777 93 73 92 and we'll be there to help you find solutions to whatever you're going through.
Welcome back. And now on the sports front, the Zambia Defence Women's Rugby team has booked a place in the Challenge final of the Vodafone Women's International Defence Rugby competition in the United Kingdom. The Zambian side powered past Vodafone Looseheads with an emphatic 67-5 victory in a semi-final clash at Guildford Rugby Club. The match was twice interrupted by thunder at evening before Vodafone conceded after the second stoppage. Zambia will now face Australia in the final on Tuesday, 2nd September 2025 in Newbury. Coach Warrant Officer Class 1 Richard Kapoma praised the players' dominant performance, while Zambia's defence advisor in the UK, Brigadier General Markford Mbuzi, commended the team's spirit and urged them to carry the same energy into the final. The development, was confirmed in a statement issued to ZNBC News by Speedwell Mapuche, First Secretary Press at the Zambian High Commission in London. Well, we've come to the end of the main news. Let's take a look at the stories that made headlines. Cabinet orders integrity committees in all public institutions to fight corruption. New Bailey Bridge nearing completion, set to open next week. IAEA praises ongoing upgrades at Zambia's Cancer Diseases Hospital. In international news, US court rules and many of Trump's global tariffs are illegal. And on the sports front, Zambia Defence Women's Rugby team storms into IDRC 2025 final. Well, thank you. Icu Tv main news. I've been your anchor this evening, Malova Eric J. Mwanamjende. Please do make sure to catch us live on Icu TV, that is on Facebook, and ICUTVZM.com, that is on our website. Please do have a lovely good evening.